Would you go 25,000 miles between oil changes? We're going to talk about that. Also, going to talk about the Toyota Tacoma transmission. We have a statement from Toyota. We're also going to discuss Ram winning an award that has people confused and some confusion over rock rails. I'm going to explain this one in this week's Truck News Recap. Hey, it's Tim, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk. And if you're not new to the channel, welcome. On Fridays, I heard to do a Truck News Recap where I talk about some topics, put them together in one video, and kind of give you guys some behind the scenes stuff on some things going on the channel, and also a few more details that come up during the week. So let's get to this story. First, it's Castrol offers a new Edge extended performance synthetic oil that provides ultimate performance and strength to enable an extended drain interval of 25,000 miles between oil changes. Now, I did an interview this week with Valvoline talking about 10,000 mile oil changes and why we have them. We have new additives in oil and things have changed. And people in the comments have been sharing everything they've done over the years. Like, do they change to 3,000 miles or 5,000 miles or 7,500 miles? And there's been a lot of arguments. People are saying you must be a moron to go more than 3,000 miles. It's gotten kind of humorous from my viewpoint looking at these stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, like, here we go. Castro is saying 25,000 miles. I can't wait for the comments on this one. it's going to be flowing. So if you go down, they have this bottles. And if you listen to the podcast, or I'll kind of walk you through. It's an image on the screen. It shows a Castrol bottle. It says Castrol Edge extended performance, 25,000 miles between oil changes guaranteed. Yes, they have a warranty behind this too. And so they talk about how it's better, 6 times better for wear protection and all that kind of stuff. And it offers an extended drain cycle of 25,000 miles between oil changes. So, and again, protection up to 25,000 miles. And it says 25,000 miles or 1 year, whichever comes first. Okay. The warranty is interesting as well. So the warranty, sorry, I go up here and straight at the top. It has Castrol engine warranty. They actually warranty the engine based on this product. So they're replacing pistons and pumps and things and timing gears. It doesn't cover modifications. It'll avoid if you apply for the warranty of vehicles in excess of 125,000 miles and or your vehicle was more than 6 years old since the in-service date. So you have to have a newer vehicle. They actually have details on reimbursement based on how many miles you have, and the older vehicle, the less they're going to reimburse it. And so it's interesting. I don't know. I just I thought I'd bring it up to you guys. Would you guys go 25,000 miles between oil changes? Because I know a lot of you guys won't go more than 3,000. I was playing golf with 3 of my golf buddies, and I asked them oil changes. I got 3 different answers. So everybody's got their own viewpoint on it, and that's great. Back on the website, there's a couple more details I want to get to. We have a Tesla Cybertruck recall, which is funny. The supplier was testing the motor at too high of an amperage, was frying the motor. Imagine that. VW has invested $5 billion in Rivian. Talk about sharing some software and things. Questions in the media right now are whether or not the Scout, remember VW is going to bring back the Scout, will be a Rivian underneath. Interesting stuff. Thinner oil change is concerned. I wrote a story after I did that video. There were some conversations we had post the video, and I want to get to one of those conversations that he brought up that we forgot to mention. I didn't bring it up. He didn't bring it up. But one of the things that's impacting why longer oil intervals do exist is that the engines, like GMT's LS and LT engines, have had more oil in them. They went from 6 quarts up to 8.5 quarts now, a 41.7% increase. And thank you, Jason, for doing the math because I suck at it. That extra capacity allows the oil more time to cool, as well as more oil / additives to prevent oxidation and wear. For oil drain intervals, he says, my guidance is follow your manufacturer's recommended oil drain during your factory warranty period. Outside of the warranty with a good used oil analysis sampling program, you can determine if your specific duty cycle and oil selection allows for a longer drain interval. It's a case-by-case data-driven process to extend. So what he's saying here is, and we said this, I guess we didn't say it as much in the video we should have, is you can change oil whenever you want. Nobody's going to stop you. It's oil, change it as much as you want. But what the recommendations is going to be based on your duty cycle. How are you using the vehicle? If you tow a lot, if you race a lot, you're probably going to change your oil more often. That's where like GM and Ram are starting to move towards oil life indicators that use mathematical equations based on what your driving habits are to tell you how much life's left in the oil. So in those cases, they sometimes make the oil changes faster based on what your driving dynamics, what you're doing, or they make them slower if you're just driving highway and cruising around a lot. So just depends on that. Blackstone Laboratories, a good shout to those guys. I've used those guys so many times. I'm not getting sponsored by them. There's some criticism. I talked about some things like cafe credits for oil change intervals doesn't exist. automaker setting the interval changing based on their warranty period, which is an odd one to me. So I discussed some of that stuff in that story. Going back to the homepage, look at there's a problem with the 2024 Toyota Tacoma. It blew up on Sunday. I took a lot of criticism because I called it not a big issue. People are saying it's massive recall. To me, this reminds me of Wastegate hyping all over again. That happened with the Tundra. And the response we basically got back is Jill put the story together, and she put every complaint from NHTSA on this post. And there's really one or two guys that really have a big issue with that. And I'll tell you what really the problem is in that in a minute. But we have Adam Lovelady, who's from the product communications team at Toyota, who said, there's just been a couple of isolated reports. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a trend. So as always, with any product thing, we will continue to monitor and take action needed. So the people are getting transmissions replaced on warranty. The problem they have is that when they build vehicles, your new vehicles get prioritized. And so they're taking all the parts they have to the factory, building those to get those orders out the door. They don't have extra parts for replacing things. So they don't have extra transmissions at this time to make that change. Now, best of my knowledge, ASIN is building that transmission. And so ASIN is one of the world's largest manufacturers of transmissions. They have a really good reputation for quality. So I don't think there's really a recall issue. I think they just have a couple duds, as you would statistically. If you build 40,000 transmissions a month, you're going to have 3 or 4 of those are going to be bad. It's just statistics. It's just what's going to happen. So I don't think there's an issue here. I still don't think there's a big issue, but I understand that to me, the big deal is waiting for the parts, and that's a crap situation. It's terrible to wait for parts. It happens all the time. And in my view, if the parts were on the parts counter, we wouldn't be hearing these stories because the transmission would just be swapped out and done. And I'm not sure how long it takes. I'm sure it's a day or two to get the transmission swapped out. So I think that's why we're hearing the stories. I know they're making a lot of news online. We also have RAM repeats for JD Power Initial Quality Top Award. This is interesting. So RAM won for the brand, for the large pickup truck, the highest ranked. The asterisk means that no other trucks met the criteria of the minimum amount segment of complaints. And I emailed JD Power, and JD Power said they will not send me the list. They said the Ram 1500 is the only one that exceeded, it was above the segment. What's the verbiage? No other make model in this segment performs at or above segment average. So we know with large pickup, we have Ford Super Duty, Ram 2500, Ram 3500, and the Chevy Silverado, the top one. What's interesting is the second year in a row, they've done this twice now. They're the best brand. So this is problems per 100 vehicles, PP 100. That's how many problems they've seen per 100 vehicles, and they lead the industry in the least amount of problems. And what's interesting about this award is people are like, well, I want to see reliability at 125,000 miles. Well, of course you do. This isn't that study. This is your first 90 days. It doesn't speak to reliability at all. This has nothing to do with reliability. It has to do with quality. It has to do with how the vehicle is built, how it's delivered, and how you like it. And it also really makes a big deal about technology. So this is interesting. If you scroll down, and I have this whole story on pickuptrucktalk.com about the top concerns. Advanced safety features like the rear seat reminder alert are confusing owners and lead to frustrations. So what they've done is we've had so many dumbasses put their kids in the back seat and lock the doors and walk into a store and kill their kids. We now have a rear seat reminder that if you open the rear door and put like your bags in and close it and get in the front seat and you drive, when you stop and you turn the vehicle off, it'll say, hey, you got something in the back seat. Might check that. Well, apparently this is leading to consumers being frustrated or owners being confused. I find that wild. Second, one of the big problem spots, our owners are experiencing issues with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. This dominates the quality awards. The Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility is always the top concern on this chart, usually top concern. The third issue is in-vehicle controls or lack of them are causing issues. JD Power specifically cites Tesla's move the steering wheel mounted buttons for horn and turn signal functions as a big issue. So apparently their steering wheel now has a button for horn and turn signal, and people are really mad about that. I also think that the new GM's push to have headlights in the infotainment system, not a button, is going to confuse people and cause scores to go down. Fourth, new cars smells and not in a good way. There's been a trend lately with an unpleasant interior odor has become a key issue for owners, and it's worsened most from 2023. So cars stink. When you get a brand new car, it has a new car smell. Well, that's actually the glues and things setting in, and everything kind of baking in the sun and really getting out all its odors. And so people are upset. I remember Hyundai and Kia had this issue, and people actually took it to dealership and were trying to get refunds because it stunk so bad. They couldn't even drive it. It's making them sick. And so, yeah, I guess I shouldn't laugh, but it's a real issue for people. The thing that was interesting with this study was bad news for bad electric vehicles. I know it's going to make the fans of the channel who don't like EVs happy, but it's interesting. So the owners of battery electric vehicles and plug-in hybrid vehicles were found to have more repairs than gas-powered vehicles in all repair categories. So here's a quote. Owners of cutting-edge, tech-filled BEVs and PEVs are experiencing problems that are of a severity level high enough that take the new vehicle into dealership at a rate of 3 times higher than that of gas-powered vehicle owners. 3 times higher they're taking in there. So, for example, gas and diesel powered vehicles experience 180 problems per 100 vehicles. Meanwhile, BEVs were 86 points higher at 266 problems per vehicles. Actually, I spell out problems for vehicles. I couldn't say it right when I was doing this video earlier. So yeah, they have a massive amount of problems with battery electric vehicles and going for repair more often. And I would wager the repairs are probably more expensive. On the YouTube channel, we don't have a whole lot different than what we did this week on the website. We had Jill's MPG drive. She took a Tacoma from Indy to Chicago and talked about fuel economy and also some seat comfort issues, which we've talked about seat comfort a lot. I didn't have the same seat comfort issues she did, but I don't remember it being stellar either. So that's kind of interesting. And I talk about the other things and the babbling videos there for you guys to watch as well. So let's talk about one more thing. I did a funny video and I was trying to make fun of myself, and people took it either seriously or they called me fat, which I'm fine. You guys think I'm fat? Yeah. See me in person, like, because I'm not fat. It's just cameras. But so here's what we got. We have a Canyon, a 2-inch lift, 33.36 size tires, or 35s, I call them, and rock rails. And I've had several comments now about people frustrated by how close these steps, and I'm using air quotes here, are to mid-sized trucks. Let's look at this photo. So you can see on this photo, these rock rails are next to the body of the truck, really close. And there's been some confusion in the comments. And let me clarify this. Rock rails are not steps. The idea behind rock rails is it protects the body from damage when you're off-roading. It is a rail that keeps rocks away. You can put steps on top of rock rails. I've seen this, but that's not what they're meant for. They're meant to not stand on these. And so people were saying in the video that I also put my right foot in. I should put my left foot in. I should have turned my body. I don't know. I always gone right foot in. I've seen this over the years. People enter vehicles different ways. So think about how you enter a vehicle, but I just go right foot in. But yeah, so rock rails, not steps. So just so we're clear, I don't know. I was really surprised. I guess surprised, but surprised in a good way. And that I love comments like that because it informs me that maybe instead of talking at a high level, I bring it down a little bit and I can explain what a rock rail is when I do that GMC Canyon review. Maybe it helps people. And that's my job here, to be helpful as I can. And so that's what the confusion is about rock rails. Again, they're not steps. That must be steps. And I had another journalist who I got it wrong too. And I was like, you're another journalist? How'd you get it wrong? I don't know these things. I don't know. Interesting stuff. So there you go. There's this week's Truck News Recap. For more, check the videos up over here. Website down below as well. PickupTruckTalk.com. Also check us on the forum at PickupTruckTalk.com. Just past 200 members. And it's really good conversations going on over there. I'm really enjoying it. As always, thanks for watching. I will see you down the road.